Hello, Cupcakes. Welcome to another edition of New Comic Book Day Review with me, your host Lohit. So I had to put on a jacket for this because it's cold outside because fall has come. You know how I know that? Because Poison Ivy is shedding her hair now, and that's how I know it. So take out your pumpkin spice latte and then let's talk some comics. Alright guys, welcome back to the video and let's start with the books. We have a massive haul, so we got to get through a lot of books. So I'm going to kind of sort of speed run through this, but yeah, bear with me. And if you need any more info on any of the books, just leave a like and drop a comment and we'll respond to all of those comments. So anyway, let's start with Absolute Superman issue number 12. So this is Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval on the art. So basically, Ra's al Ghul has taken control over Superman, and he has brainwashed him, and then Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane are trying to save him, and he's confused and he's completely been brainwashed, and yeah, what's he gonna do? And Rafa Sandoval is back on art on this. I think they had another artist, I think it was Gian Domenico, who was filling in as the artist, but I'm glad that Rafa Sandoval is back because Rafa Sandoval's art is sublime. It is amazing, right? Look at the details on that. Hopefully this is a good book. This has been consistent, and on the previous issues, hopefully this issue rocks as well. So our first book is Absolute Superman issue 12. All right, next one is Absolute Evil, which is another Absolute title, this is written by Al Ewing and drawn by Giuseppe Camuncoli. He has done a couple of stuff with Scott Snyder before, and he's drawn for DC too. But what this book is basically all these villains from the Absolute universe, like Veronica Cale and the Joker and Lex Luthor and a couple of other people, banding together, and and obviously Ra's al Ghul and Black Mask banding together and forming like the Injustice League only in the Absolute universe. So that's what this is. Right, so you see all these villains banding together, and it's the introduction of a lot of new characters here, like the characters we've never seen, including the Joker, Absolute Joker. So yeah, this is Absolute Evil. It's just a one shot, but that is I wish it continues. I think it will spread out, and there's a lot of Hawkman there. I see. I don't know why he's there. Is this the first appearance of Absolute Hawkman? Probably yes. But then that's Absolute Evil for you, and yeah, curious to check this out. Okay, next one is another ongoing for me. That is, I've spoken ad nauseum about this. This is Ramvi and Evan Cagle, New Gods, Gods and Devils. So I think this is a 12-issue run, so it's almost coming to its ending. But this has been a phenomenal run because there was no New God title in the last couple of years, but Ramvi has kind of solidified New Gods as one of the best titles at DC, and the basic premise is the same. There is this child that is born, and Darkseid is dead, and the New Gods, there are these other creatures who attack New Gods' planet of New Genesis, and they have to exile that planet, and they have to come to Earth. And there is this kid. This kid is like an avatar of good, or he could be an avatar of greed, or avatar of bad or evil. We don't know yet. So the New Gods are trying to, Highfather has sent Orion to kill him, but at the same time, Orion hires Mr. Miracle, his brother, scot-free, to come and save the kid. So there is that dilemma. Now the Justice League is thrown in, and and who attacked New Genesis, or what will happen to Highfather. All of this will be answered in the issue of New Gods, issue number 10. Okay, the next one is Absolute Wonder Woman. This is the continuing art by Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman, who are both doing the best work of their lives. So again, this is the conclusion of the Labyrinth arc. So Wonder Woman goes to a labyrinth. She finds out there's an Amazon there, and she wants to rescue her sister. She finds a bunch of these creatures. One of them is this lady, and she fights them. There is a Minotaur there thrown into the mix inside this labyrinth. So a lot of Greek mythology, but at the same time, mixed with action-packed Wonder Woman stuff. So yeah, the artwork is pretty good, and yeah, I mean at this point, I can't sing any more praises for Absolute Wonder Woman. It's one of the best Absolute titles out there. So I suggest you heavily check it out if you haven't gotten into this. Brilliant artwork by Hayden Sherman, and yeah, Kelly Thompson keeps on killing in every single issue on this. So yeah, so Absolute Wonder Woman. Okay, the next one is a purely a cover by. This is New History of the DC Universe, issue number 3 by Mark Waid, and then Doug Mahnke and a bunch of artists. And Dan Jurgens too. So I bought this for this Scott Koblish wraparound cover. So there are 4 of these, and if you put all the 4 together, then you will have like the entirety of the DC universe, like all the characters from DC, right? So as you can see, there's Dr. Manhattan, Starfire, the Lex Luthor, and then Guy Gardner, a bunch of other people. So Captain Carrot, he's amazing. So, but what this book is basically a journey through the history of the DC universe in these panels, and and it's a little bit verbose because he has to cover like 100-year history of these characters of this universe, and then not exactly 100, but maybe a little bit less, because I think they started in around 1939 or something. So so he covered, this is more like in the first 2 issues they covered like the Silver Age and the Golden Age. I think this jumps a little bit to the Bronze Age. So so it's always good to catch up on DC history, man, and that's one of my favorite things to do. Anyway, Scott Koblish, New History of the DC Universe, issue number 3. There's one more of that issue to go to. Okay, this one was not on my list, but because there is the DC KO event which is going to start, this is like a prelude to that. This is a one-shot, Justice League the Omega Act. It is by Joshua Williamson and drawn by Yasmin Putri. So I like Yasmin Putri's art a lot because she did with Tom Taylor, I think, Dark Knights of Steel. So that was pretty good. So I love Yasmin Putri art, and Joshua Williamson has become like one of my favorite writers, not just in DC but in the Energon universe too. So anything he does, I just generally like. I'm pretty curious to check this out. So as you can see, there's a lot of Darkseid stuff going on because they're obviously going to resurrect Darkseid, and then there is a lot of Time Trapper stuff going on. This is Doomsday from the future, and a lot of Booster Gold stuff, and you probably have to read a little bit of what's happening in Superman to get into this, but and Justice League too, because a lot of this event is DC KO event has been set up in the pages of the Justice League and Superman. So this is Justice League the Omega Act, issue number 1, and that's a single issue. Okay, these 2 are like cover buys. This is a Frank Cho cover for Detective Comics 1101, and then it's just a pure cover buy, but it's also startup of a new story. This is by Tom Taylor and Mikhail Yanin. I like Mikhail Yanin. I love Tom Taylor's work. So he's doing a great job on Detective Comics, but this is the start of a new story. I don't know much about it, but like this is pure cover by Frank Cho's art. Like really spoke to me. This Batman, the blue cape and the gray. That's the kind of Batman I like. Okay, next one is DC corner art by Dan Mora. This is Superman issue number 30. Joshua Williamson and Dan Mora on the art, and Dan Mora is killing on this book. Because his art has been, I heard that because he's going to start on Transformers, he's going to reduce his DC work, but as long as whatever he does in DC has been gold, and Joshua Williamson's writing paired with Dan Mora art, like that is something you can't skip. And look at this image. It is Superman corner art. They put the corner art usually here, but this is the exploded version of corner art. So the goal is basically like if I meet Dan Mora at a con or Joshua Williamson at a con, I'll get this sign. That's the idea. So Superman issue 30. Again, this is dealing with the Booster Gold, and then it's dealing with the Dark Legion of Darkseid. So I've been enjoying the story. I heavily recommend, if you want to pick up anything from DC, Superman, all these 30 issues, whenever they're thrown into an omnibus or a trade paperback, definitely go read them. Go read this. This is one of the best Superman runs I have read in a while. And same with Justice League. Justice League Unlimited has been pretty good. It's got its ups and downs, but Superman has been consistent. Pick up Superman, you'll not be disappointed. Again, 30 issues in, not even a single issue was boring. So there you go. And that's it for DC. Let's jump on to the indies. So we've got The Scourge of the Serpent by Jim Zub. And this is the Conan stuff. Again, this is an event book. The second event, that first was the Battle of the Blackstone. And this is the second event book where Jim Zub is going to take a bunch of the Howard Wars characters and, bring them together for a crossover. There's going to be a lot of time travel, timey-wimey jumping, because as you can see, this guy is wearing a suit. Conan is the barbarian. This is probably King Kull from the past, even so the past, the present, and the future, they all meet, and they're going to fight the forces of Set. That's why it's called the Scourge of the Serpent. Set is basically the serpent god, and this is a Jeff Isherwood cover, which is like an oil painting, and that's the reason why I picked that one. But yeah, the art is amazing. The art is phenomenal on this. Conan has anything Conan gins up is worth buying, in my opinion. And you get introduced to like a lot of these Howard Wars characters too. I don't know who they are. But then they're interesting. So they're like archaeologists. I mean, because he wrote a lot of these pulpy characters. You like, for example, Solomon Kane was there in the last one. Diagnes de Chantillon, she was a fencer. She was there in the last one. And I guess this one is more constrained. You've got like Brule and King Kull, and you've got these explorers. So there you go. So that's Scourge of the Serpent for you. Okay, the next one is an ongoing title, Silverhawks by Ed Brisson. So Silverhawks is a cartoon I used to watch as a kid. I used to adore it as a kid. The art is by George Combardias. Ed Brisson is writing Silverhawks, and it's been a phenomenal run. It's been a pretty good run. So what is happening here is the team of Silverhawks has just been formed. They're relatively new, and Monstar has escaped his prison, and these bunch of Silverhawks. So Silverhawks are a bunch of these cyborg cops, basically, and they are hawk themed, which is why they are called Silverhawks, and they get to take down the evil Monstar. And and for a 10-year-old, this is Monstar. This was everything. So, but what Ed Brisson is doing is he's given us the origins of these characters, which we never saw in the TV show, and he's also given them some backstories now. And now he's coming to the meat and potatoes of the story, wherein the team has been formed. He explains why they were formed. Monstar has escaped from prison, and he's causing havoc on the planets. And and basically he wants to cause chaos, and the Silverhawks have to save the day. But I like the George Combardias art, right? And it's been a fun adventure story, just the way it used to be when I used to watch the cartoons. The art is pretty clean, so I like the line work on this, and I've been enjoying this, man. 8 issues in, I think this is one of the best Dynamite titles out there. So and they have Red Sonja Vampirella and so many others. But yeah, I've been enjoying Silverhawks, and I've consistently bought it because the writing has been good on it. All right, next one is a book, IDW book. This is Starship Godzilla. Go Godzilla. So basically, this was in the Free Comic Book Day Godzilla issue. I read like a snippet of this, and I really liked it. The basic the premises is there are a bunch of these pilots in the future, and they pilot Mechagodzilla across the planets. And I'm sold. That's it. That's all I need, right? I don't need anything else. So they're on a starship, then the starship is basically Mechagodzilla, and they travel the world, the universe in search of adventure. And that's it. So you see Mechagodzilla. So I'm not familiar with the creative team here. This is Chris Cooch and Oliver Ono. This is the first time I've read anything from them. If you guys know anything about them, please let me know. But yeah, this has been pretty good, and and so IDW is doing like Starship Godzilla. They're trying to do like other titles in Godzilla too, in the Godzilla verse. But yeah, the Mechagodzilla and piloting Mechagodzilla into space, that kind of spoke to me. The art is a little bit like anime style, anime themed. That doesn't bother me. In fact, it elevates my experience, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be not too serious. And yeah, knock yourself out, man. Starship Godzilla. All right, the next book is Jason Fay book, Jeff Johns and Rook Exodus. This book was on a hiatus after issue 6, and then this is the 7th issue, and this is making a comeback now. So what Rook Exodus is like, there are these bunch of wardens on this planet, which basically was terraformed and to be an alternative from Earth. Now that planet is collapsing, and to save it are these, everybody has left the planet except for these wardens, who basically each get to control like an animal. So Rook Exodus, he's our main guy. He controls like ravens basically. And then there is this dire wolf. She controls the wolves. So the whole idea is like they have to find her dad. So her dad, because he's the only one who can save like the world engine, the thing that terraforms this planet. But why should you buy this book is because of Jason Faybock's artwork. Because look at the first panel. It is so detailed. It is so clean. He's one of my favorite artists. I met him last year at the Comic-Con. And I met Jeff Johns too. It's Jeff Johns writing. And look at this, man. just look at this. Just stare at it for 2 minutes, and then that's good enough reason for you to buy this book. So this is Rook Exodus, an ongoing title. Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, man, probably doing the best work of his life. And this is an all ages book, so everybody can enjoy this. From Ghost Machine, probably the best title at Ghost Machine. Okay, the next one is kind of sort of my, it's not a lot of people will know this. This is a book called Cold Slither. So what is Cold Slither? Cold Slither is basically a band that was introduced in one of the episodes of G.I. Joe in the 1980s. What this is basically a band of dreadnoughts. So Zartan is the lead singer. So you've got Buzzer, you've got Ripper, you've got Torch, who act as the bass players and the drummers. And the idea is that Cobra Commander is broke. He doesn't have any money. So he asked the dreadnoughts to form this band. And in their songs, he puts subliminal messages because he's Cobra Commander and he's the best character on the planet. And then, so based on that, he earns money and he gets people to come to their concert and, make them do stuff and basically earn money. And so what this is, so they have this was just one episode, but the thing caught up, there are these people who dress up as Buzzer, Ripper and like the Cold Slither band and do live concerts too. You can find them on YouTube. But yeah, what this is basically like a VH1 behind the music issue of Cold Slither, like why the band broke up. Obviously, in the cartoon, they broke up because CoverGirl, Lady J, and Scarlet, they dress up as groupies, but they have these earphones which prevents them from listening to the music, and they basically thrash the dreadnoughts, right? So that's the reason why they're stopped. But this is giving you some backstory. It's by Tim Seeley, and it's drawn by Juan Cabal, whose artwork is pretty good. So so you've got your favorite dreadnoughts like this. This guy is Zartan and Buzzer and Ripper. So why the hell not, man? So there you go. That is Cold Slither for you. It is metal as it can be. Okay. Next one is an ongoing issue of Void Rivals. So Void Rivals has been, now it's on issue 23, and this is probably one of the best books Kirkman has ever done. So it's got action, it's got adventure, it's got like every issue there are twists and turns and there's a lot, and it's trying to also tell you a fresh story, but at the same time give you like those pinches of salt and pepper across like the Transformers and the G.I. Joe universe. So as you can see, this is Pythona. So what is she doing here? And at the same time, this is Quintessa, who's basically the leader of the Quintessons, right, from Transformers. So he's trying to, he's trying to tell the story about these two races who hate each other, and they're spread across this void, and there's the Agorians and the Zertonians who are at battle. But at the same time, he's trying to like mix and match a bunch of Transformer characters, bunch of G.I. Joe characters, and and create something new. So 23 issues in, I have loved this. I have enjoyed this. I don't know how long this will go on, but this has been a fantastic title and a great book from the Energon universe. So that's Void Rivals issue number 23 for you. Okay, the next one is Rick Remender Escape. So this one is, and the second book. So the first book, you have this these anthropomorphic. This book is completely based on anthropomorphic characters, and what this is basically the Owen Wilson movie Behind the Enemy Lines. So you have this main character who was like a pilot with some in like a World War II-esque kind of era, and he gets shot down, and now he's behind enemy lines, and he basically has to escape. But this book focuses on, so you can see him on the cover, and there are all these like probably Germans or something, who are trying to hunt him down. So, and then he has to survive. But I think this gives you some context and some backstory about like how he got there, what was his story like, and what was his experiences like. So it is Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. This has been a strong book, and I'm 100% curious to check this out, and I recommend this. Okay, we're almost to the end. Wow. So this is Viking Moon. This is basically Vikings versus werewolves, right? And I don't know the creative team, so Joe Pruitt and Marcelo Fruzen and Joe Martin, hearing them for the first time. But yeah, so I think the best Viking book in comic books is Northlanders by Brian Wood, according to me, because Northlanders was a Vertigo book, and Brian Wood's Northlanders was one of the best things. It introduced me to the concept of Vikings, and of course later on I like played the Assassin's Creed Vikings, saw the Vikings show, and everything, and then Vikings suddenly became popular. But before that, this was around like the 2000s or something. Northlanders was one of those things which Brian Wood wrote, which got me into Vikings. This is something Vikings versus werewolves. I generally enjoy like the Norse mythology and the Viking stuff. So, you know, it's action packed, it's got werewolves, and you know, I was like, at least I should give issue 1 a shot. This is Viking Moon for you. Alright, the most banger title of them all is basically Skin Breakers from Robert Kirkman and David Finch. This took them like apparently 9 years to make. David Finch art is like the best. There is an image of David Finch where he does like half of Moon Knight and half of like Batman. That's probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I would probably have that if I had the money. I would buy that and frame it. But this is a new title by Robert Kirkman and David Finch. So they've drawn all of it. They've put all of it. It took them like 9 years to make. They're just gonna put it out. It's about like this tribe of people. They're like the orcs from World of Warcraft. And then the idea is basically that, you know, the leader is the old guy. He knows that he's gonna die, and he wants the younger guy to succeed him by killing him. And that's where the whole thing comes in. Obviously, there are like other contenders and stuff in this, but yeah, this is Skinbreaker, and I think it's like 8-9 issues. So either wait for the trade or buy this, because phenomenal David Finch art in this. Alright, that's all I have. That's all I got. I know it's almost 20 minutes, and if you made it to the end, then I thank you. I applaud you. You know, you're probably the best people on the planet. But I'll not take more time. So guys, please like, comment, subscribe. And you know, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next one. Alright, peace.